What's up, everybody? It's Supersmallchibiwolf here, and today I'm going to be talking about my predictions of Link versus Cloud. Long story short, let me just say, well, before I start, let me just explain this. I'm currently in a different place, so I don't have my setup equipment. Now, with that being said, let's go on. Link versus Cloud. I hate it. I do not want this matchup. Many reasons. I believe, Link versus Cloud, it's one-sided. For example, we know that, what sucks? That battle, you know what? This is, matchup-wise, this is the worst one this season. Like, that battle, we'll see. I know I have in mind which is the worst that battle this season. But as a matchup, it's bad because it's a huge stomp. And what I mean by that is, I have so many reasons and things, going through my head right now relating this fight. So let me say this, and let me say each thing, and then I'll explain each one. In my opinion, when it comes to the fight itself, compared to let's try to think of the original one, right? Now, in the original fight, Link, he got his stuff, but I remember they limited him here and there. In this step battle, they should just go all out. Like, hey, if you really want, because if they don't, even if they limit Link, it's still a stomp. So it doesn't matter. Just go all out. Just own up to it. It's a death battle. Just own up to it and use everything. And what I mean by that is I want to see all the summonings, everything. Like, I have a picture in my head. Remember in the Mitsu death battle, she had her persona, her summoning. Now, stay with me here. Cloud uses his summonings. Link uses his summonings or guardians from Breath of the Wild. All of the summonings from Final Fantasy VII versus all of the guardians from Breath of the Wild fighting in the background while they fight, similar to the Mitsu Death Battle. I want that. I think, because that battle, let's be honest, okay? Like, they're a big, successful, money-wise and all, companies, so I'm expecting the best 3D fight. Because this can't be just 2D fight, okay? Like, out of all the death battles, this should be a 3D fight. You know what I mean? It should. It just should. It should look the best. It's something like the Machamp death battle, or even better if you can. It should be like just so perfect, Yeah, graphics and just imagine the background. Like, this is the good things. I'm gonna talk about some good, but I'm mostly gonna be talking about the bad because let's be realistic, The good would be, like I said, summonings versus guardians in the background as these two fight, and when use all of the material, give Cloud all of his material, all of his potions, and Link, if he uses all his potions and all that and everything he has, it's poor Cloud. But hey, they the ones who chose to make this step battle, make this remake, so they blame them, and yeah, man, I think when it comes down to it, Link is winning. Like, I know, like, even if Cloud has his greatest setup, and his greatest setup would be with yeah, great. I remember playing Final Fantasy VII, and let me just bring this up because many people, might be like here and there, maybe forget or this and that, but I can see this death battle. This should be a long death battle, by the way. Okay, I'm talking about. This should really be like 7 minutes long at least, fight wise. There's so much to be done if you truly do go with my idea. Use all the potions, all the material, all the summonings, guardians, and all. This could easily be over 5 minutes. There's a what was it? If you play with the materia system in Final Fantasy, and if you did not know about Final Fantasy VII, you can combine materias and all that to work together. So there's a specific way I play where I forget specific names of material, but if you're really interested in knowing how my setup is, I'll leave a comment and I'll explain it there, in detail. But long story short, there's two materials I use to connect with each other, because in Final Fantasy 7 you could connect one and the other one. For example, you could use fire and ice at the same time, something like that, so it could work together all at once. And then what I do is I put revive, and I put I believe ice or another material. So defense and revive. So whenever they attack, it automatically revives everyone in my party. Even if the only character I have left dies, it revives them all to the full health. And that's how I did it with beat Sephiroth back in my PlayStation 1. So, yeah. So my point is if they put that on Cloud, and if Link kills him off, he could have another chance to come back and continue the fight, make it longer. So that would be an interesting thing to add in this fight. Now, I don't think that's overall going to make Cloud win, because, like I said, Link, not just the potions he has, he also has his arsenal, extremely huge amount of, his arsenal is huge, right? And potions mixed with his armors, mixed with the masks from Majora's mask, mixed with the Ocarina of Time, mixed with just a lot of stuff, right? And Cloud, he has some material that does stuff, here and there. I believe, I've always used specific material, so I'm not one to use huge amount of material all the time. But in specific characters, I would use other material which I would not use in my main three being Cloud, Tifa, Yuffie. That's the three I used always. And like, for example, the time material, I know there's something like that and this and that, but overall I think Link's capabilities, weapons, and everything he has in his arsenal, I think it will all be enough to defeat Cloud more. Well, overall it will defeat him, but I think, yeah, man, I was thinking a lot, I was like, Link versus Cloud, like, why? But then I was like, oh yeah, the Final Fantasy 7 remake. And also, let me just give them credit for this. At least it isn't Cloud versus Guts from Berserk. Because, oh man. Let me explain that real quick. If you wanted Cloud versus Guts, you failed more than the people who wanted Link versus Cloud 2. Let me just say that. At least this isn't, at least this isn't Cloud versus Guts. Okay, because that's just stop it. Okay, sit down and watch some R34 Yuffie stuff. Okay, in the corner. But yeah, Link versus Guts. Cloud versus Guts was such an awful idea. So at least this is not that battle. So that's a positive I can see. At least, I'm trying to look at the bright side of things when talking about this. I don't want to just sound negative and bad. So yeah, another thing I would like to discuss also is and this is probably going to be oh, never mind, I brought that up about the summonings versus guardians. I think that would be pretty cool. And if man, that would be an amazing discussion to have in a live chat, just with other people. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So in the comments, if you want to talk about, the Guardians versus the Summonings, yeah, feel free to comment. But besides that, when you go into that battle and you're like, you know what, this is interesting. I want to know who wins. I mean, not know who wins, but I don't want to get spoiled. I'm not saying that, but I want to, I'm interested in this fight. I wonder who would win, and this and that, and something cool. Like, oh, and it's like when you see a stomp fight, it takes away from the hype. It takes away from the happiness. It takes away from just like like, hey, this is mysterious. Like, for example, Ryuka versus Shadow. Like me personally, like I said, I would rather have Ryuka versus Chrono from Soul Eater. Like, but Ryuka versus Shadow is better than this matchup. So that I need to give credit to. But again, Ryuko versus Chrono would not have killed you. That battle. Is that pun? But yeah, yeah, man. I just say, to end off the video, let me just say this. I hope it's a 3D fight, and I hope they make it interesting, to watch, and use all of their, what they are capable of, and kind of. Look, like I said, Link is winning. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Cloud's going to win. Link is going to win, and I love Link and Cloud. So don't get me wrong. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite Final Fantasy. And I do love other Final Fantasies, by the way, like 9 and other ones. Okay, so it's not like, Final Fantasy 7 like usual, But yeah, I love Yuffie theme. But you know what would be funny? Let me just talk about other death battles that they can do, right? So what death battles should they do afterwards? Well, after all of this, let me talk about that. I think that would be pretty cool. I think it'll be more interesting if they do bring other characters from newer series. For example, Sukuban Decker series. Like, they could introduce that to it. I think, what was it? If they bring more stealth fights. Because, hey, that could be interesting too, dialogue, make a story behind that. Maybe Samus Samwin versus Mega Man Star Force, the one that won that Battle Royale, using the strongest Mega Man versus Samus Aran, bring her back. How about that? She deserves a new opponent, just like Link and Cloud deserves a new opponent. Like, come on. Now, Yuffie would be great in that battle, okay? just saying. It should have been a... If you want to remake a fucking Final Fantasy death battle, remake the T for that battle. How about that? And actually apologize for the mistakes you did. Like, that's the death battle you should be remaking, relating to Final Fantasy VII. Like, let's just forget about Link vs. Cloud 2 for a second and talk about that. Look at that battle. You should remake Tifa's death battle, okay? I'm not going to say the other character's name because I don't want to, that's serious. But yeah, how about we make that fight next? I think that's what everyone's waiting for. But with that being that, I'm going to end it off like this. You know what could have been even better? What was it? I mean, a fight that would be great to have, but I don't think they'll do it. Trunks from Dragon Ball Z versus Chrono from Chrono Trigger. I think that would be an interesting fight to go with, But, I guess that's it. I wish I had more hype and more happiness, but, Link versus Cloud. I love both characters, I truly do. I love both games. But when you know that the outcome is just going to be then it kind of takes away from the fun, in my opinion. So yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me in the comments who you think is going to win. Are you going to... I don't know. Dude, this is just... I'm just like... What the hell? But yeah, to be honest, seeing how they are so far this season, I was like, after the, to be honest, like after the Mikasa the battle, I was like, yeah, this is they. I think they've really lost the shit. And after seeing this, I was like, that mixed with that one, mixed with the other death battle, I was like, okay, yeah, they basically gave up. So pretty much, it sucks. Hopefully this is a 3D fight. Hopefully they use Guardians versus Summonings. Hopefully they give Cloud all of his materia and stuff to at least stand a chance, you know, or anything. So yeah, most likely they won't do that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me in the comments who you think's gonna win. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.